So before we get into this video, I want to share a couple things. I recently broke down and signed up for Hulu only to watch the Herb Baumeister Box Hollow Farm documentary. I wanted to see these new interviews with that Goodyear guy, right? And any other information that they have dug up. So after paying, signing up and actually giving them information, they're still giving you ads every 4 minutes, right? Most of the ads that you're seeing are for pharmaceuticals. They are advertising weight loss medications, right? And shots that you can give yourself, eczema medications. These are all to hide the symptoms. Tardive dyskinesia medicine. How many people out there have random tardive dyskinesia that needs medication that they're actually putting out ads for? That's really weird to me. A meningitis vaccine that also claims that 1 in 10 will die. But they skew that. The reality is that it's very rare that people get meningitis, and when people do, 1 in 10 will die. But they say 1 in 10 will die in the ad. A BetterHelp commercial that was played over and over. All these are played over and over. More diabetes and weight loss meds for people who want to stay plus size but have to lose just enough weight to be in the quote-unquote healthy spectrum, or the healthy spectrum for 2025. It's insanity. But the information in that was very good. The subversion, I hadn't seen ads in so long. And it was just mind-blowing to me to watch. It's just in-your-face craziness. But before we get into the hardcore parts of this video, and I'm going to be traveling through a lot, so put your tracking helmet on. People do not understand the world that they live in. And they make no attempt to understand it, but there are clues everywhere around us. So let's talk about something really stupid for just a second. Like, here's a 4-stroke motorcycle. And if you look at the exhaust, it's this ridiculously skinny pipe that goes all the way back to the silencer. You could basically route the pipe anywhere and in any shape you want, as long as it gets to the silencer, right? But if you look at something else, this is a 2-stroke motorcycle, okay? Now, let's look at it. It's simpler. It's just a 2-stroke. But it has a huge pipe that looks rather bizarre, right? It is oddly shaped. It's huge at one point and super skinny at other points. And why is this? It's because 2-stroke dirt bikes are making power. But they're making power with sound, with frequency. And that sound has to resonate just right through that pipe to create that power. It has to be the right shape, like a flute or a saxophone, to make that power. Do you understand that this world is not comprised in the same way that many people believe it is? I could get into bumblebee flight, but I will save that for another video. But this relates to what we're going to get into. These are photos that I put up February 10th of 2025. These are very, very important because they show a full moon or close to a full moon. And as soon as it got up and it was a clear night, planes began spraying it. And this will happen. Everybody should start paying attention to this. Every time there is a full moon and it's a clear night, they get out there and they start spraying over it. This should show you that what people refer to as quote-unquote chemtrails don't just happen during the day. And although throwing these things down at night isn't super common, pay attention. Most of the time in our current reality, they'll lay these down at night. But usually when there's a full moon or close to a full moon, they will cover that moonshine up in an area, a region, or nationally. Look for it and you will see it. I have dozens of these photos of full moon or close to full moon photos showing this, where it gets so thick that there's a moon halo, right? Why block the moonlight? This lets us know that this is being used for something beyond just geoengineering. It's for something else entirely. And I've talked about this in the past, but I want to discuss this a little further in this video. What does sunlight and reflected UV light interfere with? It interferes with radio frequency. On a sunny day in the middle of July at high noon, your Wi-Fi connection and other RF is severely compromised by sunlight and other forms of UV light. In the past, if you've ever stolen an internet signal that somebody had up that was, unlocked, you know this. That unlocked signal that you are connecting to is far less strong during the day and much stronger at night. And that's because the sun isn't pounding down and breaking up those communication signals with its light. This also lets you know that the Earth is not too keen on these frequencies being out there, or it wouldn't naturally break them down. So why dump trails at night? Or why dump trails at all? There's a bigger game here. This trailing is not only for, blocking the sunlight. Once these trails dissipate, the particles in the air make the sky and the air in front of you more conductive. RF passing through it can create its own network through it. And that is the reality of it. This is far beyond just quote-unquote geoengineering. And that's the reason I've never jumped on that bandwagon. Because this is a multi-pronged system and a program. Laying down trails over full moons should give you proof that it's not just for blocking the sun, right? If it was geoengineering only, trailing the full moons would make no sense at all. But all this RF soup that is out there bouncing around, hitting these trails, coming back down, whatever they're trying to block from being broken up, in every rogue man-made frequency around you has an effect on your mind and on your body. Attempting to debate that only shows that somebody has no idea what they're talking about. See, our Schumann resonance, which is, we'll call it the Earth's natural internet signal, which speaks in ELF in order to keep these signals in the background, this signal has been hijacked and has an overlay over it using the natural 7.83 hertz as a carrier wave. So it's bursting, swelling, and hopping with unnatural frequencies being intentionally injected into it. What can this do? It can essentially disconnect, or at the very least interfere, with our connection to the Schumann resonance. And to make this clear, every living and non-living thing on this planet is connected to what humans refer to as the Schumann resonance. I've tried to explain this to people over the years using different analogies, trying to make it as simple as possible for people to understand. And I've said it's like an open world, old school slot car track where everything is running off a main source of power. I've called it the Earth's internet. You can call it whatever you like, Mother Nature, God, whatever, but it is very real. Now, to show you an analogy, a visual of it, my grandparents used to have one of these at their house down in the basement, and I used to mess with it. And I didn't find the game all that interesting, but I found the premise that vibration controlled the game very, very interesting. This is one of these old football games. I guess they're from the late 60s. So boomer toys, basically. But if you check it out, vibration is creating this whole open world, allowing the figures to move. The vibration, see, controls how fast they move. But it's connecting them all.
Feel comfortable in starting out there?
They're all being affected, every single one. And that's exactly what the Schumann is doing. But we are electrically connected to it as well. No different than an old school slot car track that people played with at around the same time that something like this came out. The football game is a more open world way for you to get a visual on how this goes down, right? Every tree, fish, squirrel, neighbor, postman, moldy rag, worm, daisy, bee, petunia, and sewer rat, as well as everything else, is connected to the Schumann resonance. And once you truly understand what it is doing, you will begin to have a much larger understanding of how what they call, quote unquote, Mother Nature works. When you look up Earth man-made ELF bubble frequency, you'll get they admit it, a man-made bubble of very low frequency, which is ELF radio waves, shields Earth from high-energy particle radiation. So they're actually claiming that ELF is protecting us. You can call it whatever you want, God, Mother Nature. Like God or Mother Nature couldn't do that on their own. Man had to step in and create this protective barrier. It is the absolute most ridiculous thing you have ever read. But they admit it, right? And to understand that Earth's frequency has been admittedly hijacked and taken over, opens the door for an even greater understanding of everything odd and abnormal that we have been seeing happen over the past 50 years, especially the past 25, because it went into hyperdrive after around the year 2000. And that's just part of this. You have the cell network, 5G, the smart grid, wireless everything. You know, I said in a video called "We Need to Talk About the New Normal" that if these signals were suddenly visible, you wouldn't be able to see your hand in front of your face. And that is 100% true. You could almost envision it as a dense darkness where you can't see your hand in front of you or anything around you, like a pitch black room. Now, these signals have an effect on us. Like I said, if you don't have overt physical, mental, or motor skill / speech problems from your brain being bombarded by foreign signals all day, it will creep up on people in other ways. In waves we have seen after each new band is unleashed on the landscape. It could be arthritis, lupus, or autoimmune illusions. It could be dementia. It could be any of those. But something that we have seen a lot of lately is rage. Like crimson mist rage everywhere.
I want to stab all of you to death as many times as I can. I want to stab you in the throat and twist it like I'm carving a fucking pumpkin. I want to shred you into tiny fucking pieces. I want to tear your fucking bones out from your goddamn body. I want to scoop your brains out with a fucking spoon. I want to eat your fucking flesh.
Now think about it. I want you to really think about this. If you're already out there and you're sporting a 75 IQ, right? And the RF, ELF, and EF soup knocks a good 10 points off that and irritates the senses, the brain, and the psyche, you are going to have people snapping, freaking out, losing control, having zero impulse control, and basically behaviors that we haven't seen at any other time in history. And strangely and coincidentally, that's exactly what is happening. So, you know, there are people basically running around with like 65 or lower IQs that have no ability to control their impulses. And they're just rage, right? Someone a couple videos ago said that I'm surprised you mentioned the trans thing. I didn't expect that from your channel, something like that. People who actually watch this channel know that I have talked about this subject many times in the past and discussed how they are branding a Frankenstein creation as a lifestyle. These kids have grown up with GMOs, which Europe said we will watch the Americans for the next 20-25 years and see what happens after them using these GMOs, right? That's what Europe said. Could have been France. They have grown up around Wi-Fi. They have grown up around the cell network. All these things that our bodies didn't form around. Their bodies did. And a kid born in 2000, and you know, the soup really kicked in 2002, 2003. So a kid that was born in 2000 has basically been bombarded his entire life. They knew that this was going to happen to a certain percentage of these kids in this toxic soup of all of this. Frequencies, GMOs, heavy metals, the nano aluminum levels going outrageously high, just crazy shit, and their bodies are forming in this. These people have become poisoned and do not develop correctly. And then they are herded, you know, cattle chutes. They are herded into a lifestyle umbrella operation to cover the fact that they have been poisoned. They are then victimized with propaganda and continuously manipulated through various means, and this is done in order to make them feel isolated, hateful, and resentful towards quote-unquote normal people, and they've been raised weak. Then the system props them up, builds their confidence to speak out loud, normalizes it, and then weaponizes their creation, their Frankenstein creation, against society, all while people believe they are fighting for rights. That community is poisoned. They knew this was going to happen. Just the level of estrogen mimickers they have been raised around is enough to change a generation alone. just alone, not even considering the rest of it. When you have hijacked the Schumann resonance and everything connected to it, there is going to be an effect. With everything else added to the pot, you have disaster. And they are lying their asses off. There is a human-made bubble surrounding Earth, and it's keeping radiation away. That's what IGN News is saying. And it is keeping radiation away. That's what they're telling you, right? You go to the Smithsonian, and it says a human-made bubble of radio waves could be shielding Earth from radiation. Very low-frequency radio waves have created a protective bubble around the planet by Jason Daly, if Jason Daly is even real. And this is a NASA piece, basically. If they are trying to tell you that it's for this great reason, they're telling you it's an accident, but it's keeping radiation away. They are telling you right here and admitting that basically the Schumann resonance has been hijacked. Full-on hijacked. So the ramifications of this are severe, extremely severe, and it's everything that we're seeing now. I want you to watch this video. It's not meant to agitate. I want you to actually look at this person and listen to this person and realize this is an illusion. It's a puppet show. They have been poisoned and turned into something else entirely, then directed down a cattle chute where human pride and ego is going to create excuses and a will to survive. So let's check it out.
This is a call to action and a call to arms to everybody within the United States that are scared, worried, have children that are transgender, lesbian, bi, or gay. This is a call to action. You need to arm up. Plain and simple. Go out, buy a gun. Learn how to use it
dude.
efficiently, through and through, because the time to act is now.
Their minds have been so mushed, propagandized, and just ran through the ringer that this person really believes, if they're not a total deep fake, right, that they are putting people on cattle trucks and shipping them out. That's basically the equivalent of what this person is getting at. But there's only one way to do that, and it's through the division. And they have used these people to divide the entire country. And you have to remember that these people were a complete and total Frankenstein experiment, a byproduct of something else that they were doing with GMOs, with everything that they have ingested over the past 50 years, but especially the last 25. This is the product of that. It's insanity.
Brothers and sisters and theys and thems, you need to protect the rest of us in the LGBT community, as I'm going to do myself. I do not fear Christians, I do not fear conservatives, I do not fear evangelicals, and I do not fear Republicans.
I've never seen a video of Christians physically attacking these people. I have, however, seen hundreds of videos of these people raging out. Not just these people, but younger people in general, raging out and just doing insane shit that no one would have seen 25, 30 years ago at all. At all. Autism, you have all these just bizarre, disorders that have tripled, quadrupled these people. Everything that is going on, medical, psychological, is because of external shit. And a lot of it has to do with your disconnection from whatever you want to call it. Mother Nature, God, Earth, whatever. You know that birds, if they are exposed to mercury or heavy metals, they will naturally become gay. And that's just a fact. And that is Mother Nature saying, okay, you're poisoned with heavy metals. I am taking you out of the gene pool. Now, if science knew that there was something that upped the likelihood of people having gay children, would they tell you? Absolutely not. These are the same people that are complaining about the population, saying that there's too many of us, 90% of us have to die. These are also the same people that say that they want to save your life. To come get this shot and it'll save your life. We need to save people. Out of the other side of their mouth, they will say that 90% of people need to be wiped off the planet. If they knew that something could create or up the likelihood of creating gay children or gay babies, would they tell you and would they use it? No, they wouldn't tell you, and yes, they would absolutely use it. There is so much to this. Now, seeing something like this that I'm going to play happen one time 25 years ago would have been all over national news because of the bizarre aspects of it, right? The behavior. But now it's totally normal, and there are video compilations of them literally out there. Just these people just snapping. It's always over inconsequential shit like fast food, like garbage. Look at that. It's just rage. And they're acting like, a lot of these women that do that, they're acting like dudes. Like just coming at people. And it's a combination. It's a combination of being poisoned, being bombarded, not only being bombarded by frequency and toxins and GMOs and everything else, but also being bombarded with information where you are the victim, you are the victim, you are the victim, to where you are just raging. People need to really realize this, what is happening. And it's happening in all aspects. Everything is being subverted. And they 100% admit that the Schumann resonance has basically been hijacked and subverted by their own man-made ELF. And it's not natural. None of this is natural. So she ends up getting knocked out because she was coming at people, freaking out like a dude over fast food stuff. I'm telling you, there are compilations of these that are like an hour long that you can watch. And it's just insanity, and that's the proof, right? You would have never seen this. One time would have been crazy. Somebody on PCP 25 years ago. And now it's totally and completely just normal. Totally normal to see. We are desensitized to how awry things have gone in the past 25 years. Be honest, behaviors, even drug behaviors, have completely changed. If you are over 30, there is shit going on that you did not see 25 years ago. Just behaviors that didn't exist. Like looping, when people loop and do weird shit like this.
You shut the fuck up.
You're fucking
What the fuck is
annoying.
wrong with you, bitch?
You did not see this 25 years ago. Even drug behaviors are different. The definition of psychosis is different. Like what we saw in the last video that I laid out, where the chick learned song lyrics through her blow dryer that are actual song lyrics. People are being poisoned, and this is the result. They've been pushed down these cattle chutes. They are being disconnected and interfered with, and the information that they are taking in is equally unhealthy. And it's creating this crimson mist type atmosphere where everybody is super divided and super dehumanized on both sides, and they're coming at each other's throats, and everyone has been weaponized, completely and totally weaponized. But the Frankenstein creations that they have made by pounding people with foreign frequencies, by GMOs, by trailing and polluting, by everything, has really come to a head. And now, 25 solid years into this, we are seeing the results. So pay attention. As I said in the beginning, the trailing is not just for geoengineering. The Frankensteins that they have created are weak, entitled, and feral at the same time. And that is a dangerous, dangerous combination. And they know it. They are attempting to poison and redefine everything. They are lowering the bar to a level that has never been seen. We are not progressing. We are going backwards. And this is not cultural. What they are telling you is TikTok or some cultural fad. This idea that it is cultural is coming from the same people that told you that people not going to work and kids not having to go to school gave them negative mental health effects, right? Imagine trying to fly that one back in 1994. Like, anybody would go for that. You're trying to tell me that not going to school drove my kid crazy. Wow. I want to plant something here besides all the chemtrailing, the frequencies, and everything else that is making people lower and insane. Think about the term the Great Reset. I'm just going to touch on this and I'll get into it later, but the Human Genome Project, DNA, and the quote-unquote Great Reset, what if it really meant getting to the genetic memory area of our DNA and wiping out tens of thousands of years of genetic memory, natural fears, and everything that is supposed to be encoded and passed on to our children, wiping that out, which would equal a planet full of genetically naive people with no gut instinct and would get behind really stupid ideas and almost everything that is happening, a real Great Reset. And if that hasn't happened yet, when will they attempt to do this? These are the same people who, as I said earlier, have admitted to quote-unquote accidentally creating a protective bubble around Earth, and every article that has been injected into the interwebs has told us that it's accidental, but it's a protective bubble around Earth, and it's blocking radiation and doing all these great things. This ELF bubble that basically hijacked the Schumann resonance, which we all need. We have birds falling from the sky, beached whales and other animals where the magnetite is going haywire in their brains. Right? Look out for Charlie.